Hey guys, I wanted to come to you tonight um, with a quick prophetic dream I had, and I hope that it encourages you guys. So, um, with all of these prophetic words that God gives me, um, for one, I pray that it reaches you. I pray that it reaches deep down into your situation and just brings you revelation and it pushes you into a closer relationship with him. But with everything, any prophetic word, anybody saying anything, always take it to God. Always say, hey, I heard this. I don't like the way it sounds, or hey, I heard this and it sounds right. It feels like it fits my situation. Always take it to him. This is always to push you toward having a closer, more intimate relationship with him. And I am just the channel through which he speaks. And I'm very honored to do that. And I want to be responsible with that. So I really just wanted to give you guys that disclaimer that just take it before him and allow him to flesh it out and um, reveal to you, hey, yeah, I'm talking to you through this, or that's not for you. Because sometimes prophetic words aren't for us, and that's okay. So, this one. I had this one. This is a dream. I had it some months back, and I'll go ahead and tell you the dream. So, in this dream, I was in a classroom, and it was, I forget, I think this class was, it was, for some reason, I felt like I shouldn't be there. I think because the students were like rowdy and disruptive. No, no. It was actually because I felt like, what's the point? Why am I here? I'm not going to pass this class anyway. I just had this real defeated attitude about it. And so the instructor was passing out or giving back. Maybe you can hear a dog in the background. Sorry. Anyway, the instructor was passing back the tests, and the instructor came to my desk and placed the test on my desk. And I saw in red right at the top, I had a negative 21. And yeah, I looked at the test and I was like, negative 21, what, why? And so as I looked up, the instructor was this guy that I used to work with. We had a couple of conversations in real life in passing, nothing too uh, consistent, just in passing, like, hey, how you doing? But his position was I worked at an attraction in New York, and he was a tour guide. So all the tourists that would come, he would guide them around the attraction. So I saw him, and he was my instructor. And he looked at me. And he was like, "You didn't even try." And when I looked at the test, literally, I did not answer not one question, nothing on the test. He was like, "Do you take me as a joke?" I was like, "No. What do you mean? This test is about basketball. I don't know anything about basketball," because the test was truly about basketball. I had questions about the game and I know nothing about it in real life, really. And so, and then I woke up. So I woke up, I was like, that was weird. So some time passed, and I was still trying to ask God, trying to pull some kind of meaning out of the Holy Spirit. I'm like, what was this dream about? What does that mean? Because it left me with a really defeated feeling. And sorry, my hat. I don't know if you guys can see my eyes. So yeah, I then I came across this verse one day, and it resonated with me. It just kind of stuck with me, and I think I wrote it down on little index cards because that's what I tend to do when I'm trying to learn a verse or something, just to keep it with me and look at it. And so I woke up one morning and that verse was on my spirit. I was like, it's on my spirit. I'm thinking about it. Let me just go back to it. This, this is, I'm telling you, God is just, he's Amazing. This verse was Matthew 21:21. Matthew 21:21. And do you want to know what the funny thing about this is? The instructor in my dream, who was in real life a guy I worked with, the tour guide, his name was Matthew. So I was like, yo, this is wow. This is wow. I was like, it was so cool. But then after I calmed down, I was like, okay, what are you saying? So let me read to you the verse. I'm going to read this out of the amplified version. Matthew 21:21. Jesus replied to them, I assure you and most solemnly say to you, if you have faith, which is personal trust and confidence in me, and do not doubt or allow yourself to be drawn in two directions, you will not only do what was done to the fig tree, but even if you say to this mountain, be taken up and thrown into the sea, it will happen. So this verse is talking about Jesus was walking in a field with his disciples and he came across a fig tree. And I believe it wasn't bearing fruit because, they were looking for something to eat and it didn't have any fruit and he cursed it. And I believe sometime later, um, the disciples and Jesus came back to the tree and they saw that it withered, like it totally died. And they were like, what? You cursed it and it died? And then he goes on to say, yeah, if you really have faith, like if you really have faith in me and don't doubt, you can literally do what I did. So after I calmed down from the dream or being able to piece it together and how awesomely it was put together, I, I felt defeated again. Because I'm like, now this was a time where I was really going through the thick of anxiety and torment. As I've said in other videos, I've dealt with anxiety most of my life, but in this season, it was terrible. It was terrible. One very strong way it came, and I talk about it in a previous video, which was God showing me the demon that was associated with this fear, which was the fear of storms. And where I live, it's storms all the time. So I would have this incredible fear come over me. I mean, just a death, just incredible fear. Even on days when it wasn't stormy, even on sunshiny days, it was just hanging over my head. And I was fed up. I was tired of always feeling like I was going to die. So when I read this verse, I got a little upset because I was like, what are you saying? This is what I'm doing. I'm professing it. I'm declaring it. I'm speaking life into myself every day. I'm waking up. I'm praising and worshiping you, even though I don't see no change, even though the fear is still right here and I'm feeling it every day. What are you talking? If I don't believe, if I haven't, this is what I'm doing. What? Is this a joke? Like I started to get really frustrated. And then I said, okay, so God, I'm trying to break it down. So either this faith thing, right? Either what is it? What am I missing? Is it that you just have to will to have faith? You just have to determine yourself to have faith? What is it? And so I kind of let that be. And do you know, a few moments later, I have this really awesome Bible. Right here. I don't know if y'all can see it because of light, but it is the original African Heritage Study Bible. And in it has lots of pictures. It's really awesome. There's a section about the disciples, and it gives a verse with a disciple in it, and it talks about their attribute, like what personality trait did they possess. So I'm just flipping through this Bible, and it lands on the disciple Matthew. And guess what his personal attribute is? Can you guys see it? Matthew's dominant attribute, spiritual attribute is will. 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 God was telling me, I just need you to determine yourself, will yourself to have faith. Just will. And it didn't seem like enough because I thought I had faith, right? But it wasn't deep down in me. I had not yet had a serious encounter with him. But I was willing to praise him when I didn't feel like it and read and fight through the terrible torment I was going through. And he was saying, that's enough. That, the fact that you have the will to press is enough. And listen, I know we hear this all the time. I mean, you hear it all the time. Pastors and people are always like, well, you just gotta press. Just press through and he's gonna meet you where you at. If you just keep moving through. You know, I mean, I'm being a little facetious. But we hear that all the time, right? Like, just keep pressing, just have faith. But what does a person do when they're trying to have faith and nothing is changing? In fact, it's getting worse. Will. Determine yourself to do it. Determine yourself to believe, even if it makes no sense. Even if it makes no sense and you do not see the fruit of it. Because after this, it was some months later, I experienced God in a real life way, and He is healing me from anxiety and the spiritual forces that are behind it. I never thought I wanted to, but I never thought. I never thought I would really be healed of it. It was that deep and that dark and that bad. But that's what the tour guide said. My instructor in the dream, he said, do you take me for a joke? You didn't even try. And I'm looking at the test. I'm like, I don't know anything about basketball. What you want me to do? So it was almost as if to say, I don't know anything about this warfare, this fight, this faith thing. No, I'm not going to answer the questions. I don't know anything about it. And he's like, do you take me as a joke? Do you really believe? Do you really believe what this word says? And he was pointing out to me, no, I don't. I wanted to, and that was noble, and that's the start. But I didn't really believe because I had not yet had an undeniable experience with God. So what I needed was just the will to continue. And this may not be what you want to hear because it means you do have to press through the storms of your life. But I can guarantee you it's not going to come back void and empty. I promise you. So whatever you're going through, sorry, it's a lot. I don't know if y'all can hear. There's a lot going on. I lost my focus. All right, I'm back. If you will, if you just will, keep Matthew 21:21 in your mind. It's not something that's like a good idea or something, Bible thumpers just toss around. This is real life. Will. Talk to him. You can express yourself to him. You could scream and yell. I wouldn't, not scream at him, but be authentic. And I promise you, you're going to see him move in your life incredibly. Take him seriously. Even if you don't know the answers to the test, write it down. Write something. Fill in the blanks. Fill in the questions. And get it wrong. And then have him show you how to get it right. So I pray that this encourages you. I was in a very, very dark place when I got this. And I didn't immediately see the light. But just hearing from him like this gave me strength to continue to walk. And then it led me to that moment with him that freed me and that began this healing process. So I pray the same for you guys. I know it'll happen. Press, put your will, your determination in it, and see how he's going to come through and rock your world. Okay? Please feel free, comment below. If you have any questions, any comments, however you feel, put it down below. And it will be my pleasure to interact with you guys and give you some support any kind of way I can. Okay? So I love you guys. I pray that this touches your mind, and your heart, and it encourages you. Okay?